One kebab that's always going to deliver on flavor and make the best sandwich is Adana kebab, so let's make some. In a food processor, go in with yellow onion, red bell pepper, jalapeno, and garlic cloves. Pour the mixture into a cheesecloth and squeeze out all the liquid, then add what's left into a large bowl and season that up with Turkish red pepper paste, a ton of spices, and add in your ground beef. Mix this really well using squeezing and folding motions until the meat starts to stick together. Refrigerate the mixture for about 20 minutes, then shape it into a log and slide it onto some metal skewers using your fingers to create this kebab pattern. It's too cold to cook this on the grill outside, so you can just pop it in the oven directly under the broiler for 6 to 8 minutes. I make a super simple white sauce to go with this, along with some fresh naan. Slide the kebabs directly onto that bread so it soaks up all the flavor. Serve it with a side of grilled veggies, an onion sumac salad, and it's ready to enjoy. One thing about birria is it takes forever for the meat to get tender, so when I want the same flavor but in half the time, I make chicken birria instead. To a blender, add in yellow onion, tomato, garlic cloves, dried chilies, a can of chipotle peppers and adobo sauce, a bunch of spices, and some water. In a heated pot with some oil, sear some chicken thighs until they're lightly golden. Then pour the birria mixture in through a strainer so you get a smooth broth. Pour in water, add in chicken bouillon, salt, sugar, pepper, bay leaves, and a cinnamon stick. Then let this simmer for about 45 minutes until the chicken is so tender that it falls off a fork. Dunk your tortilla in the layer of fat that sits on top of the broth, then fry this up in a pan until it gets nice and crispy, stuffing with mozzarella and the shredded birria chicken. Serve it up with consommé on the side, a couple wedges of lime, and it's ready to enjoy. If there's one meal that's going to keep you full all day long and cost less than $10, it's Ful Mdemmas. It's basically stewed beans, and you can find these cans at your local Middle Eastern grocery store. Start by heating up a pot with some olive oil and cooking down yellow onion, jalapeno, a little bit of garlic. Then add in the fava beans along with some tomatoes, your spices, salt, pepper, and a little bit of water. Then just cover and cook for about 15 minutes until the beans are tender. I like a more mashed consistency, so I use an immersion blender to blitz in random spots and then finish with lemon juice. Traditionally, we serve this with a ton of veggies on the side, and I love scooping it up with some raw white onion and de-seeded jalapenos. Don't forget to add a good glug of olive oil in the center, of course some fresh naan, and it's ready to enjoy. When I was in Japan, I saw these steam buns everywhere, but I couldn't seem to find them without pork, so my only option is to make them at home. According to the internet, the best substitute is going to be ground veal because of its neutral taste, so I'm using that for the filling, seasoning it up, and then mixing it together until the meat becomes sticky. For the dough, combine water, yeast, sugar, beef tallow, and flour. Mix that together using your hands or a stand mixer, and then let it rest for about an hour until it's doubled in size. Now to get all the air bubbles out of the dough, you're going to roll it out and fold it multiple times, almost as if you're laminating it. Once the dough is smooth, roll it up into a tight log and then cut off little pieces for each dumpling wrapper, shaping each one into a circle. Then roll out the wrapper, focusing on the edges so that it's thicker in the center. Add a dollop of the meat mixture and then start pleating the dumpling shut like this, or just seal it up however you can. Reshape them so they're nice and round, then let them sit covered with a damp towel for about 30 to 40 minutes before you cook them. Steam the dumplings for about 15 minutes, adding a drop of white vinegar to prevent them from going yellow. Keep the lid on for about 8 more minutes so the dumplings don't deflate, and then it's ready to enjoy. Every year for the past 3 years, I've made these beef curry puffs for Ramadan, and whenever I make them, they're the first thing gone from the table. In a hot pan with a little oil, cook down yellow onion, jalapeno, garlic, add in some flour, your ground beef, a couple spices, some tomato paste, and brown sugar. When the beef is mostly cooked, go in with frozen peas, cover and let this cook for another 10 minutes, then finish it off with some lemon juice. For the wrapper, I'm using paratha dough that I slightly roll out and then use a mold to cut out smaller circle shapes. Add a spoonful of the mixture to each wrapper, then seal it shut, pressing firmly using your fingers or a fork to crimp the edges. These are perfect for storing in the freezer, and then whenever you need them, just deep fry for a couple minutes until they're golden and crispy. Serve it with some chutney or a barbecue sauce, and it's ready to enjoy. Nothing says Ramadan like breaking your fast on some good soup, and this lentil soup is one that will always have a seat on my table. Just saute onions, potatoes, carrots, and whole garlic cloves in a little olive oil, then add in your wash and drain lentils along with curry powder, cumin, salt, black pepper, chicken bouillon, and let this simmer for about 30 minutes until everything is tender. Blend this up using an immersion blender so it's nice and smooth, then finish it off with lemon juice. I like to make croutons to go with this, which is just some cut up sourdough toasted in an air fryer with a little bit of olive oil and salt. Then all you do is plate up the soup. You can top it off with some fresh parsley, chili flakes, or chili olive oil, and it's ready to enjoy. Jerk chicken is so flavorful, so it only makes sense to infuse those same flavors into a creamy sauce and make jerk chicken pasta. Start by pounding out some Scotch bonnet pepper and add that to cubed up chicken breast along with minced green onion, white vinegar, soy sauce, a couple spices, and some fresh thyme. Let this marinate for as long as you like, and then fry up the chicken in a hot pan until it's golden and almost all the way cooked through. In the same pan, fry up some bell peppers until they're slightly charred. For the sauce, saute green onions, Scotch bonnet pepper, and some minced garlic, then sprinkle in a little bit of flour, cook that for about a minute, then pour in your heavy cream. Season it up with the same spices you used for the chicken, and then toss in a small bunch of fresh thyme. Let this simmer for a couple minutes until thickened, then add the cooked chicken along with the sauteed peppers back into the sauce and finish it off with pecorino romano and fresh mozzarella. Toss some cooked pasta in the sauce, garnish with black pepper, green onions, and it's ready to enjoy. I finally discovered that it's possible to make manaish at home that's nearly identical to the ones that you get at a bakery, so here's how you do it. For the dough, combine warm water, warm milk, yeast, sugar, olive oil, salt, and some flour. Knead this for a couple minutes, then shape it into a thick log and divide it into 6 or 7 pieces for small manaish. Shape all the pieces into round balls, then let these rest covered for 20 to 30 minutes until they're doubled in size. Then roll out each dough ball into a nice circle shape that isn't too thick or too thin. For the best flavor, you want to use 3 types of cheese: Akawi, mozzarella, and buffalo mozzarella. Buffalo mozzarella leans more on the wet side, and it's going to make this taste incredible. Another topping I like to add is suja, which is basically a meat sausage. To cook the manaish, add some ghee to a hot pan, then add the rolled out dough on top along with your cheese and any toppings, and transfer this directly under the broiler for about a minute until it's beautifully golden. Top it off with sesame seeds, and it's ready to enjoy. If there's one marinade that should get an award for how simple yet delicious it tastes, it should go to Juche Kebab. Combine ground up saffron, sugar, and hot water to make the saffron water, then slice up the chicken thighs into strips like this. Marinate the chicken in a little bit of saffron water for about 15 minutes, then go in with lemon juice, yogurt, olive oil, black pepper, salt, turmeric, sliced onions, minced garlic, and a little bit of saffron powder. Pop this in the fridge for at least 3 to 4 hours so the chicken has time to absorb the color and flavor. Cook these on the grill for that added smokiness, and don't forget to brush with a saffron lemon butter sauce. I made a super simple sumac aioli to go with this, along with some crispy tahdig and a Shirazi style salad. I feel like this is only complete with some grilled veggies on the side. Top it off with some more sumac, a little more of that saffron lemon butter, and it's ready to enjoy. Whenever I need a dinner that's seasoned to perfection but doesn't require my entire spice cabinet, I make this air fryer paprika chicken. Season some chicken thighs with lemon juice, smoked paprika, a couple other spices, minced garlic, and olive oil. Massage it all in and let this marinate for as long as you like. To make it a full meal, I like to peel and cut up some yellow potatoes and then add that to the base of an air fryer basket with a little bit of oil, garlic salt, and fresh thyme. Lay the marinated chicken on top of the potatoes with the skin side facing down, air fry for 20 minutes, then flip and air fry for 10 more minutes to get that skin crispy. Serve this with some steamed broccoli on the side, and it's ready to enjoy. If you're craving a McDonald's snack wrap, here's how you make it at home in under 30 minutes. Season chicken tenders with white vinegar, a couple spices, and let that sit while you work on the coating. The key for the breading is using cornflakes, and just season that up with black and white pepper. Dunk the chicken in some flour, and then the egg wash, and then finally the seasoned cornflake crumbs. Make sure to press it in firmly so it all sticks. Then fry these in hot oil for exactly 3 minutes so they stay nice and juicy. I made a McDonald's inspired mayo to go with this, then just assemble it over a flour tortilla with some shredded lettuce, cheddar cheese, that crispy chicken, and it's ready to enjoy. If you love spicy and you love shrimp, make these sweet and spicy gochujang shrimp bowls. Marinate some shrimp with smoked paprika, salt, white pepper, lime juice, avocado oil, and cornstarch. For the sauce, combine gochujang red pepper paste, sugar, sesame oil, soy sauce, lime juice, rice vinegar, a couple spices, and some water. Cook the shrimp in a hot, lightly oiled pan for about a minute per side, just until it starts to change color. Then in the same pan, cook down some garlic, add in the gochujang sauce, let this simmer until thickened, then add in the shrimp and cook for 1 more minute. Serve this over some jasmine rice with cubed up pineapple. Top it off with sesame seeds, green onion, and it's ready to enjoy.